welcome to another episode of the North South podcast. Yeah, Darren, all the Premier League matches are done for foreseeable future. I got FA Cup at the moment. What is a jam-packed schedule? Cricket going on as well. I'm sure you enjoyed it. I definitely did.
Yeah, well, it was good to see that the Proteas won, beat England in the first test. So after their kind of hectic last month or two in CSA, it was good to see that they got a result, especially with Mark Boucher taking over now. So yeah, it was good to see them win.
Yeah. Yeah, we spoke about it in the first one, like how the Proteas going to react. Are they going to react in terms of just crumbling, or are they going to use this as fuel to try and fight? And I think they've proved it. I think more now you can see it than you could before, because now the true quality of England's coming through, and it makes it clear what we did in that first test to bowl them out like that, and especially Quinton de Kock. Like, a point on Quinton de Kock is, I think if he manages to do you know he has the fourth highest strike rate of all time in tests?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's in the top 5 for strike rate of all time. I think if he just savors his wicket a little bit more, he could be absolutely extraordinary. Because he was the difference in the first test. Definitely Adam Gilchrist-like. So yeah, I think that Quinton de Kock probably holds the key, and it's Sunday, 4:20 now. We're in a little bit of trouble in terms of the second test.
Yeah, England 153 for 2 in their second innings now with a lead of 199. So yeah, looking a bit difficult. It's probably
I think listen, England's bowling, man. I think that's what needs to be spoken about. Yesterday, Rassie van der Dussen, yes, more lives than a bloomin' cat, dude. He made it count to a certain extent. He got his half century. Dean Elgar absolutely chucked his wicket away. I mean, that was extraordinary poor decision making. I've never seen him do anything like that before. But England's bowling, man, I think when they started targeting that one crack, and you just saw how many times they hit close or onto it. You're dealing with Broad, you're dealing with Anderson, you're dealing with Stokes. Those guys are very, very skillful bowlers, lots of experience. And now recently I've been watching, it looks like there's a bit of rough out for Maharaj. And then there'll be a bit of rough out for England spinner as well. So doesn't look good. It looks like the pitch is going to get worse, and we somehow can't use it to get wickets at the moment.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because they did bowl so well in that first innings. Werner Verlander and Nokia and all the bowlers actually picked up wickets. They all utilised it. But it's just looking a bit dead at the moment. So yeah, I don't know what that means. It's probably just, if it's become a hard, fast track that's a bit easier to bat on, it still means that South Africa will get a chance to bat on it. So if England's batsmen can work it out, then in theory South Africa should do the same. It'll be nice to see the likes of Peter Malan and that being able to get some runs on debut, and yeah, even if it ends, say, in a draw or something like that, it'll be good just to see them get out there and like fight for it, and not just throw it away, like they tend to sometimes.
It's when South Africa's number 2 and 3 batsmen are producing 10 runs in an innings. Yeah. South Africa is not used to that at all. They're usually high class, averaging 50+ batsmen in either of those positions, always for the last decade or so. So when you get Hamza and Malan just completely sputtering, throwing their wickets away. And I mean, the sad thing about Hamza is that he comes on debut and he scores that 30-some odd, stays out there for close to 100 balls on debut. It's sad to see like that he hasn't built off that. And especially when it comes to new players who are extraordinarily talented, it's more the mindset than the ability. I think that's been seen before. Yeah, so hopefully what they ideally would need is what they have, and that's guys like Shark sitting there, Smith in the background. So just, because they've guided young players through careers who've become superstars. So South Africa has what they need. They've done it all before. South Africa has what they need to progress, and starting off good, and that win will give them a lot of credit in the series. It sort of showed that South Africa is not going to crumble and fall, and I think all the players showed guts. They need to dig a bit deeper now because we need more from the top order batsmen.
Yeah, I think that's what we've
Half
got to give.
included.
We've got to give them a bit of leeway with, especially Milan and Hamza, that they're really new on in their careers. Or Milan's a very experienced domestic player. He's got over 10,000 first-class runs, so he's very experienced. But yeah, we just need to give them a bit of leeway. But the others need to perform around them. Your Duplessis, your Olgas. Rossi's done fantastic well. I'm glad to see him in the Test side. He deserves it. He's a first player to be able to score a 50 on debut in every format of the game. So yeah, I'm glad he's there. And yeah, it's also just figuring out. Yeah, Quinton de Kock's got a much more important role now, batting at 6 instead of 7. So we lose that specialist batsman for the all-rounder. So he needs to really bat well, and it's quite an important position he's taking up now. And then obviously Pretorius is obviously going to be the future Philander for us, it seems. He's also got to, as much as he's got to do the bowling, he's also got to make sure that he's out there batting long periods of time and making runs, batting at number 7 or so, like Sean Pollock used to do for the team. So yeah, it's a newish kind of dynamic in the team. So I think we just need to give them a bit of time. But we know what they are capable of. This could be a really good Test squad. Plus minus a few players.
Two things. First, did you see Gibbs' tweet about not scoring 100 for 3 years and being dropped in terms of performance? And second thing, Quinton de Kock's career is starting to pan out because it's close on 70 tests now. Look at his average. It's not where it needs to be. Maybe the strike rate is partly to blame for that. Can he only play one way? Those two things, Darren.
For Bavuma and that, I think he's rightly been dropped. I think Gibbs is right in saying that if you're not scoring runs in that, then you shouldn't be in the side. He has been doing all right for in some domestic games, and I think in SAA games and that, I think he captained the side in that. But it doesn't mean he's ready for international level again. You might just be going through a blip in the career and that. So I think he's a really good batsman.
Good batsman. He came close a few times to 100. Like he's been in the 80s and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure he has scored 100.
He has, but I mean he hasn't in a while.
Yes, yeah. But he is a really good batsman. You can see it in his technique and that. And then
incredible fielder as well. Let's not forget that.
Pretty good as well.
And then Quinton, man.
Yeah, let me try to pull up his stats quickly. But I think he is. It's obviously the one day and T20 side of things is where he's most at home. So he's played 44 tests now. He's averaging 38, so it's pretty good. But it's kicking on and getting those bigger scores. If we look at his last couple innings, let's see what he scored.
I think that Dean Elgar has the best, one of the best conversion rates of all time, or something like that. I was checking out. I think it's something like 12. I think it's something like 1450s and 1200s. That's incredible.
So for de Kock, his last couple of innings have been 20, 34, 95, 5, 4, 5, 31, 0, 111, 1, 86, 55, 80, 129. So he did really good against Sri Lanka, in South Africa. And then, away in India, he was, not too much to speak about besides that 111. And then, back in home in South Africa, he scored 95 in the first test. So yeah, he sometimes it can be a bit inconsistent, but overall I think he's on the right track. Um, this, yeah, if he's sitting at an average of 38, it's not terrible. That's pretty good. He probably needs a few more than that.
But I mean, I know I said 70 matches. I mean innings.
Yeah, 74 innings. Yeah.
Um, 38 for Quinton. Partly maybe because he's batting with the tail a lot, so maybe you are right in that aspect. So yeah, it's just that stat that he's top 5 strike rate of all time. Pretty scary stuff. Exciting though, considering yesterday was proper Test cricket. Like, oh, barely scratching 2.6 runs and over. Just like, oh gosh, this for the purists. Say, I won't lie.
And yeah.
Another quick thing about that match, I saw someone coming out in support of 4-day tests, and I also saw Joe Root's average is suffering under captaincy. So we've seen some of the best batsmen just couldn't captain like Tendulkar.
Yeah.
Something to look at there. He's way above 50 average in terms of a test player, Darren. What on earth is going on there?
Yeah, obviously the pressure and that we've seen it time again when it comes to players that are well-established players and teams.
That drop is akin to someone ending their career. When Hashim Amla's average dropped like that, he's starting to become not as good as he was. Root is young as fuck. What the hell? His averages dropped so bad, dude. What is it now? Like 47, 48?
48.
Sad stuff. Very sad.
And he's 29. He looks
in terms of a number 3, that's young. He still has at least 6 years left.
Yeah, we've seen it, like I said, in many players before when it comes to taking a well-established player and making them captain. Sometimes it works, sometimes it backfires heavily. And in his case, I don't know the stats on it, exactly the difference between being captain and not captain. So yeah, I can't speak too much on that. I know he did have, he scored some big runs against New Zealand. I think in one innings he made a double century. And before then he's been scoring on and off. Obviously in the Ashes and that he probably didn't have a great series. So it would have to be interesting to see the comparisons between the averages.
And now to close off on cricket, World Test Championships. What's your take on the point system there? They're giving, 60 for a 2-series test match, or is it more than that? 160 per game for a 2-series test match.
No,
two test match series.
It's all. I think each test series is given. What's it? Yeah, I'm not too sure.
When I looked at it yesterday, it looks like for a 4-test series you get 30 per win. For a 2-test series you get 60 per win. To me, all right, that's a way to weight it. It does make sense. I mean, you have just secured yourself to not lose the series by winning one of a 2-test series. So it makes sense, but it heavily favors the sides like that are constantly playing 2-test series.
Yeah.
Because any sort of win is 60, which is 2-test wins in a 4-test series.
Yeah. So let's see how it's. Okay, so number of matches per series. So if it's 2, points awarded for a win is 60, points awarded for a tie is 30, points awarded for a draw is 20, and then if it's 3, it's 40 per game, 4 tests 30 per game, 5 tests then it's 24 a game. So yeah, obviously if the shorter the series, the more points awarded basically. And the more likely you are to jump up that ladder. So the shorter the test series, the probably better. but that's maybe not exactly what you want as a as a team kind of thing, because you would and a viewer.
I think the tournament vibe we wanted from the Test Championship, compared to what we feared would happen, the fears panned out in that we're not really paying attention to it. Like, we'll only pay attention to it once it gets closer to 2021. Because I doubt they're playing for points. They're still playing for pride. They're still playing for trophies in the series. They're still playing for past experiences of what's happened between the teams. Maybe it'll take some time to get adopted, but yeah, interesting point system.
Yeah, it would be better if it was just a standard system where a winner's X amount of points.
3 points, just make it like soccer. 3 points, 1 point, 0 points.
Because then it's just it doesn't matter how many tests you're playing. It doesn't matter.
Home and away, none of that stuff matters.
Yeah. Whereas now it is kind of, but we all knew it was going to be there's going to be some bias in it, and it was always going to favor the likes of Australia and India.
At least for the first time, we'll have a true greatest country in cricket after they award the championship.
Yes, it's either going to be
the first time ever,
England or India, and it's probably going to be India.
Yes, it's probably going to be India. Yeah.
The system is made to favor them. There's no way of getting around that.
Yeah, that's true. Thank goodness they aren't like totalitarian and like come fucking hack us or something. They don't give a shit. But yeah, speaking about soccer point system, Boxing Day results, nothing too much that sticks out beside Southampton beating Chelsea 2-0, which I'm distraught about.
What a surprise. I saw that. I watched that game.
I think Chelsea, for the first time since I've been a fan since 2003, is at a rebuilding stage. So instead of just going out and splurging on the best players money can buy,
they still got some bloody good players.
Yeah, they do, but we'd probably be going for Mane and shit like that if we were up to our old tactics. Go for the best. We sort of are producing talent for Madrid over the past few years, which is disappointing in the entire world system, but it is what it is. Boxing Day, not too much that stood out. Liverpool running amok against Leicester. We said that's going to be a key game. Turned out to show who's running the show this year.
Yeah.
It's not taking any prisoners. Saturday 28th fixtures continued. Nothing too much that stood out there. Maybe the Spurs Norwich game, a draw 2-2.
Yeah.
Spurs showing some troubling form in the recent past. Under Mourinho, maybe it's an adjustment period. You know, Mourinho does things his way. You're sort of not allowed to bring a car over a certain value to practice. A whole bunch of shit that doesn't matter. But then again, he does pride himself on managing millionaires. So that's his way of doing it. The players either hate him or love him for doing it that way.
And there's also the transfer market now as well, which needs to be also interesting times.
Very, very. Because you know the transfers that are happening in January are chaotic. No one wants to move in January. No teams want to change in January. So it's like there's always drama behind the moves that happen there.
Yeah.
And then coming to recent form, United getting beat by Arsenal. Yes, it's been long since I've seen Arsenal fans that happy, eh? Yes, Arsenal fans were beaming even days after that, eh?
Yeah, I was quite surprised by that.
What is it with United, man? They've spent so much money, dude, and Pogba's out again, going for surgery.
Yeah.
Fuck me, that's a situation and a half.
I don't know why they don't just sell on back to Juventus, let Juventus take the problem, and then free up like £80 million and go buy some other players.
Yeah, dude.
I think
United usually used to bring guys up from the. It seems like United have adopted the Chelsea way, and Chelsea have adopted United way, which is very weird. Two very opposite clubs.
Yeah, it seems at the moment like Man U are probably focusing on bringing up the development players. I've seen a lot of the names I do not know, the Greenwoods and that coming up, and I think Tomali is another one that's been more consistent in the team over the last few months. So that it seems like they are taking those development players and maybe using this season as like a testing breeding ground for the next generation. And it's Marcus Rashford has been doing pretty well.
It's pretty much carrying the entire. Those two are pretty much carrying the entire offense. I don't know, for the amount you guys paid for Maguire, man, is he living up to that hype? He sort of is meant to give you guys like a freaking Chiellini sort of fucking performance for how much you guys paid for him.
Yeah, he's not probably not living up to that at all. Um, yeah, it's difficult. I think the defense wise for Man United of since the likes of Ferdinand, Vidic, and those guys, Evra have
Brown.
left. Yeah, it's been kind of a really weak defense. We haven't been solid. It leaves De Gea a lot to do every game. So yeah, I think defense-wise, yeah, we need someone like a Vidic, Ferdinand, that's consistent.
Do you think that the amount of money you guys have spent is putting so much pressure and causing it to be so chaotic? Because it's fine to rebuild. Rebuilding's fine within a club, but to like to be expected to produce so much, because you guys don't have young players. You guys have players who are bought and proven. Like, I don't know, me watching, I'd expect more from Luke Shaw. I'd expect more from a lot of those players, man. Like, just letting Oaks run past them and shit like that, and you prized as like one of the best wing backs and things like that.
Yeah,
Reputations are starting to slip slightly.
I think it would be better to maybe take a different approach, and like you say, rather get younger players in, and rather build them and mold them.
I've seen Juan Mata, I've seen Matic, I've seen those guys play, Darren. They're lacking motivation. They're lacking a whoop behind them. That's what they're lacking. Mata appears to have aged 50 years in the last 5 years. The guy was Darren. Mata was player of the decade for Chelsea. Understand what I'm saying to you? He's player of the decade for Chelsea.
Yeah, and then he's
worth a lot more than what's been going on there.
He's a half sub kind of guy that comes on for us now, and yeah, performs every 10 games. So yeah, it's a weird situation. I think the whole team needs a real good look at, and if anything that's excess needs to be cut off, kind of thing.
Even Matic sometimes made Kante sit out. That's how good and proper he was, and what a stalwart he was in midfield. Just winning every header, just being physical, just winning balls, just showing a bit more oomph, just running himself into the ground. Those players have not changed physically, they've changed mentally. So is it management? Is it, I don't know, man. It's just a lot. It's chaotic. Very, very chaotic. Yeah, all clubs go through it, though, but it's very chaotic.
Those two in particular will probably be sold by the summer. I think. God. Yeah. Okay. We can start talking about how bad.
Sorry, man.
Higher in the
no, but shit, Chelsea's in a bad way, man. Talk about inconsistency. I'll always stand by this. They're gonna ruin Lampard's career by bringing him in so young. The guy was pretty much poised to be at Chelsea as long as Ferguson was at United. There'd be very little he could do to make us let him go. The win against Arsenal goes a long way in terms of morale for the players. Young club, young manager, different mindset. The club's changing and it's regrowing and it's building. So if you can just sort of keep draws and wins, good. Just the losses need to be cut out. The clean sheets need to start coming again. You've got excellent defense. You've got excellent keeper. You've got one of the best captains in the league, in my opinion, through Azpilicueta. Played left back in a Premier League winning season. Now playing right back, can play wing back. You can change the formation. There's just so much space, so much like potential. If Abraham stops being a twat and stops being selfish, I think it would help a lot. But yeah, a lot to look forward to. He's very young, yeah. And I see United are also in for him as well.
Really?
Abraham. I'm not sure whether it was City or United, my bad. But someone's in for him.
Probably City.
So yeah, move on to basketball. You can finish off with basketball. We said the battle for the West, battle for the East is going to go down. Do we have our answers? Clippers managed to beat Lakers in that important match. Yeah. It was close, but all the players were on the court, and what happened, and Clippers came out on top. But then again, that means nothing because the Clippers just lost last night to a Ja Morant-led Memphis, who's a rookie coming out of Duke with Zion Williamson. And I mean, Ja Morant literally broke ankles. Dudes were falling over and shit. Iconic shit was happening last night. And I was watching that match. And then you get battle for the East, 76ers and Bucks. Why does it escape me who won that one? That was on Christmas Day, and 76ers came out on top. I mean, you can't expect Giannis to do everything. Bucks have 76ers have better all-star core in terms of their experience, in terms of having a center.
Joel Embiid, he
Joel Embiid
played like
coming out of Africa, doing great things.
Yeah, it seemed like, well, from what I heard in that, it seemed like he was destined for greatness, but he's kind of just been on and off the track. But this season in particular, he's really, when he does play, he plays, and he scores a lot, and yeah, he's probably been one of the key players for them.
And I mean, if you look at what happened last season, that final shot that Leonard hit in the Eastern Conference Final to get to the final and ultimately beat the Warriors, it was one shot. Embiid was one shot away from going there instead of Leonard and them. Embiid could have been there, and it looked like Embiid was sick for one match in that Eastern Conference Final, injured for the next match, and then sick for another match. And he still managed to push them. So you got to rightfully say, if 76ers made it to that final, what would have happened? And you got to look at that closely. So I think Embiid's got a massive chip on his shoulder. Because, I mean, he cried like a baby when they lost. Such a meme. Literally like a baby. Literally crying like a baby. So, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting to watch. All-Star Week coming up. Dunk contest coming up. Three-point contest coming up. It's the best time of year to be a basketball fan. All the little games and little sort of posturing and all-star dunks and East versus West. And, yeah,
one other thing was Williamson, I think in the last Pelicans game, he was warming up with the team and that, and wow, seeing him in practice and that, what a figure. That guy's huge.
Guy's enormous. Basically a football player playing basketball. So yeah, watch out for him. He's back. It's basically like what we waited for this year. And then it was such an anticlimax because he got injured just before the season started. But yeah, man, look out for that. Look out for those highlights.
Yeah.
Dunk of the year coming from him. Definitely. Gonna flatten people, man. Watch out for that.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see him soon playing for the Pelicans before the season's out.
Yeah, and then hopefully we can speak about a South African win coming up against England in our next podcast. Or even a draw, to be honest with you. I'd take a draw.
Yeah, I would take a draw in the position we are at now.
Thanks for listening, and please remember to subscribe and follow us on our different social media pages. Catch you next time.